My shirt goes with my cat. I don't think I like this shirt. I think it's going back. I do not like this thing up around my neck. Just never, never liked that feel. Don't like the feeling of being choked when I'm trying to deliver a Dharma talk. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the topic of inspiration, and I most certainly look forward to visiting with you tomorrow, Friday, and here I just I've got this feeling, I've got this percolating feeling down deep into my bones that you've had some ideas during the week, some fresh, new, lively, uh, breathtaking ideas of some sort, and some breakthroughs on how to make that happen. But anyway, I'd love to find out. I really would, and Looney would love to see you. So today I'm going to quickly borrow from three different world scriptures. I think if I can remember my angle on my mercifully, I hope, brief talk on inspiration. The first is faith without works is dead. It's like, well, where does that come from? I looked up on artificial intelligence and it says that it comes from the James part of the Bible. I'm not a Bible expert per se, uh, although I think we're all living out the stories one way or the other, but faith without works is dead. And so we could have all the inspiration in the world, but if we don't act it out, then if we don't take action on it, it's just nothing. This is an interesting angle, and my friends in the recovery movement might be able to relate to this, but we often hear people who come in and they're early in the recovery game and they talk about they had all these wonderful ideas. They had the most marvelous ideas, ideas that would take over the whole world. And there was nothing quite so satisfying as bellying up to the bar and having a few pops with other people who also had great ideas. And oh, how we love to talk about our ideas and absolutely do nothing about them. And then they find that when they come in and put the plug in the jug, so to speak, that's recovery language for straightening up and flying right, so to speak, that they actually begin to put some of the ideas into play. They actually do something. It's amazing, and it's amazing what happens when you actually do something, but it's also amazing what happens when you don't. It's just, we've been talking about getting inspiration this week, and it's sort of occurred to me personally, you can tell me what you think, that the one of the major clogs for inspiration is God's inspiring us all the time, but if we're not taking action, the inspiration nozzle, so to speak, gets clogged, and we're getting plenty of inspiration, but none of it's coming out, none of it's being expressed. There's not being no footwork. There ain't being no footwork. Let's get into some colloquial down home language. There ain't being no footwork, and then ain't nothing happening. And this is why, well, in the recovery movement, you actually get a friend sometimes, a friend. They're lovingly called a sponsor, and no, they don't buy you T-shirts or put decals on your race car. They kick your ass up one side and down the other with love and compassion. But sooner or later, it's best if we develop this kind of internal motivation where we do a little bit of footwork every day, at least a little bit. But this brings up another great line of scripture. Now I'm shifting over a few thousand miles to the east, and we're going to go with one of the very first lines, maybe the first, I can't quite remember, of the Bhagavad Gita, the great Indian Bible. How about this for a line? The great sage who is actually blind, but he has several servants out on the battlefield, but he says, the great seer who is blind asks his servant, he says, on the great battlefield today, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, how did we? It's kind of strange language, but it said, on the battlefield of life, how did we do today? How did we do today? So isn't it a wonderful thing that we can actually pause at the end of the day and review our great ideas and our list of footwork and to see if we actually did anything, and the momentum we gain by just doing this, the teeniest little things, the movements of the grain of snow at the top of the mountain that end up becoming an avalanche. And so I was reading a story the other day about Steve Jobs, who I would never recommend copying his personality profile. Whew, what a DI double asterisk he was. I mean, really, really mean, but changed the world in five fundamental ways. But he was so, he basically operated on three things on any given day. There were three things that were going to get done on that day. And if you didn't participate in that, or if you got in the way of that, you were moved out of the way very quickly. So I don't recommend Steve Jobs' personality by any stretch of the imagination, but I do admire the just do this today. Today I'm cleaning the cat box. Today I'm getting the lint out of the dryer. And today I'm contacting my life coach to start an advertising campaign. I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, we can look back and we can say, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, what did I? What did I do? Was my faith dead without any works? So now that we're all wildly and tremendously inspired, as I'm sure we are, and we will talk about tomorrow, the topic next week is going to be footwork and the actual accountability of what we're doing to make sure that we're moving small little grains of sand down the mountain so we start to get avalanches of wonderful results in our life, if you're interested in that. Anyway, Looney and I wish you a warm day. We're off to Costco to trade this shirt in. I won't do it now. And I will see you guys on the morrow. Have a beautiful day.